I want everyone to stop shoulding on themselves. We all say, I shouldn't drink so much, or I should have control, or I shouldn't be so weak, or I should have stopped them, I should have said no, I shouldn't have gotten them alcohol, I should have been a better parent. The fact of the matter is, we can should on ourselves all the time, all day long, and all it's going to do is cause us guilt and shame and make us feel like we're not doing good enough. So stop shoulding on yourself. Listen to this video, release the guilt and shame, whatever it may be, whatever it's associated with, and start changing your life. Because it would be a shame if you didn't become the best version of yourself. And it can start right now. If you don't know me already, I'm Clark, and I'm an alcoholic, but I'm a recovering alcoholic and a sober one, over 3.5 years at the time of making this video. And I am one who likes to live this life called the fearless, authentic, impeccable life. It's what I'm all about. It's what I've developed through my sobriety and recovery. And my commitment to this channel and to these videos is that I want to help others live their best life and embrace this way of living called the fearless, authentic, impeccable life. So if that's something that you think would be valuable to you or even others, would you just do me a favor and just give me a thumbs up, because that's just a huge sign of support. It also just helps get this video out to others who might need it and might need that support as well. So thanks so much. You know, the best thing that probably happened to me in my sober journey is the first day or the first time I said to someone that I knew that I was an alcoholic. I didn't know who to talk to, but I had a friend who was sober and he'd been through a lot with me, and I eventually went to him and I just said, I think I'm an alcoholic and I don't know what to do. And all he said to me was, I know, I love you, let's go get some help, we'll figure this out together. And that was just the most loving, compassionate, forgiving, and supportive way anyone could have ever received me stating out loud for the first time that I finally understood that I had a problem and that I finally understood that I wanted to change. And I recall a conversation with my grief counselor. She's my spiritual guru and my therapist. Once I got sober and I'd probably done 2 or 3 years of grief work and recovery work with her, I remember asking her, I was like, I can't believe that my family didn't say something to me. I mean, there were enough instances, sometimes in New York, where my parents were pretty scared about me because I had a bad blackout and no one knew where I was, or other times where maybe they saw me sneaking some drinks and suddenly the whiskey at home was half gone. But no one ever talked about it. No one ever said anything to me. And for a while, I honestly felt really angry about it. I felt really offended. Like if they loved me, and it was so obvious that I had a problem, even if they didn't want to say I was an alcoholic, like, why didn't someone just say something? Like, why didn't they just tell me that I had an issue and I needed help? And I finally realized it's because we all have too much guilt and shame associated with these things that we call addictions or alcoholism or coping mechanisms or ways to self-medicate. Because if I, the alcoholic, drink too much, or I'm weak because I'm out of control, or I abuse alcohol again, even though I tried to get sober for 2 months, you know, that's guilt and shame because I feel like a failure. I feel like I'm weak. I feel like there's something wrong with me that nobody wants to talk about. And then on the flip side, if you're the parent or the loved one or the child or whoever you are that's not the addict, you have guilt and shame because maybe as a parent that means that you didn't do a good job, or you failed, or what's wrong with them, and what does that mean about me? Like, what's wrong with me because look at my child, they're a mess and I did something wrong. So there's all this guilt and shame associated around these things where there should just be love and forgiveness and compassion. And I know that's probably a little woo-woo, probably a little just a easy peasy way of saying how we deal with it. But the fact of the matter is, shame and guilt, it does not make any of this easier. It certainly doesn't make it go away, my friends. And if you understand that, give me a thumbs up, because if you drank like I did, if you do drugs, which I thankfully never did drugs, but an addict, no matter what, however you're coping with things, I bet anything, the more guilt and shame that was placed upon you, the more you did it, the further you got into it, instead of getting away from it further, if that makes sense. So we cannot allow ourselves to be defined by a word. It's just not healthy. Alcoholism, unfortunately, carries too much guilt and shame with it. And so if you're listening to this right now, if you're the alcoholic, if you're the addict, if you're the person struggling with whatever coping mechanism you use or whatever it is that you do to self-medicate, I want you to love and forgive yourself. I want you to release the guilt and shame that you feel in this moment from everything that has come before you. And I want you to know that like you're not weak and that you don't have to be defined by this label that maybe others have put upon you or that you have put upon yourself. If you look at it in a way that's free of guilt and shame, this can be actually a foundation for the rest of your life that will prove to you just how strong and amazing you are, because you are stronger than whatever's holding you back in this moment. So release the past. You're not responsible for it, but in this moment, you're now responsible for your life moving forward, regardless of what happened in the past. So release all that stuff and just start changing today, just a little bit, all right? And if you are a parent or a loved one, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a child, a friend of someone who's struggling, just know that the last thing any of us need that have those coping mechanisms, those addictions, the last thing anyone needs is to be told over and over that they have a problem, to be told over and over that they're weak. I know it's gonna be hard to hear, I know it's gonna be a hard thing to understand, but a lot of us don't have any say in it. We don't have any control. There's a reason they call all of this a disease, because it literally takes you over. So the best thing that you can do is just support them with love, grace, compassion. So there you go, my friends. That's my story. I hope that you found it valuable. If so, give me that thumbs up. Hitting that like button just allows this video to get out to others who might need to hear this message. And if you're willing to consider subscribing to my channel, that means the world to me, and it's a huge honor to have you as part of my channel, because ultimately that support just allows me to make more content and videos that hopefully will help others live the fearless, authentic, impeccable life that I've come to live by, all right? So thanks so much. Until I see you again, which I really, really hope is next week, I hope that you'll check out that playlist right over there, or hey, maybe the video right down there, which is the one I mentioned earlier. And until I see you again, a little food for thought, something I like to always say: be authentic, be fearless, be you, and everything else will fall into place. Thanks for your time, my friends. Bye.